Hey everybody. Urban economic. Yeah. Uh-oh. I hope you guys can hear me because I'm on the thing. So let me know if you can hear me or not. Cause I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. From the Urban Economic Empowerment Show. I'm just talking and preparing a meal. How about that for $1? So I have to talk and prepare a meal at the same time. Yep. Thought I'd take a little break, little breaky break. Peace, power, and profit to anybody who's out there. It's a lot going on. I don't want to get into these tax 2026 tax retroactive tax plans for some people. That's going to be beneficial, and also share some stuff about federal government contracting that has changed, the minimum wage with an executive order that I was not paying attention to. Okay, someone share all of that. But in the meantime, in between time, I just want to talk a little bit. I haven't been live in a while. Been studying for cybersecurity, so I haven't been around. I haven't had too much time to be able to do what it is that I need to get done. So right now, I'm just kind of a little limbo doing what I'm doing. I was like, you know what? Let me go live. So you guys should be preparing for the tax year. I guess I can start there. Um, One of the first things you need to be doing to get ready. Make sure. Let's just talk to the business owners out there. You all, especially if you have some cash flow, you need to start looking into an accounting system. It doesn't have to be nothing expensive. If you just want to categorize, make it simple, don't want to pay a whole lot of money, you can get the cash flow manager. It helps you track your income and expenses. It also helps you, it has a mileage tracker that you can keep up with. Speaking of mileage tracker, that's an area that many people kind of sleep on. Last year, can you believe it? The mileage was 70 cents a mile. Guess what the mileage is for 2026? 72 cents a mile. So if I was you, I would definitely make sure I have a tracker. I mean, you could do it manually. So if you were to be tracking your miles manually, you would actually have to make sure you have the date, you have the to and from location, have how many business miles, and remember, you're qualified for business miles, charitable miles, and medical miles. So don't forget that. You just have to log it. So with your mileage log, if you want to do it manually, whether you write it down or you create a Excel spreadsheet or Word document for that matter. But I would do Excel because you can do a sum total, or you could um and you put to and from where you're going, and what's the description of what you were doing, right? Now, like I said, you can always do it manual. Manual is free, or you can go out there and you can subscribe to some apps. Now, I like to be smart. I like to maximize whatever application I'm going to participate in. So I favor my own personal. I use QuickBooks because I can track my mileage. I can link my bank account and it'll track my income and expenses for me. I can take pictures of the receipts in real time. It will categorize those receipts to those transactions, therefore allowing me to be audit ready. And that's what you want. That's not just power, that's economic power. because being ready for audits is important, or just making sure that you have your business in place. And so that's why I favor that one. However, there's plenty of software out there. You could get separate softwares. You can get you can get a mileage tracker. Then you could track your income expenses. Now, many people will say, "Oh, you know what? You could just use your bank statements." Not a good idea. Not a good idea to just use your bank statements. That's an accountant nightmare. Because when that accountant has to reconcile and categorize those transactions, they don't know where that stuff is or where it go to. And then it takes forever. When you could have it being done in real time, like seriously, y'all, I would have it done in real time. It saves you a lot of money. If whoever's filing your taxes, you can have everything in your software. And even if you're a sole proprietor, freelancer, right, independent contractor, you get QuickBooks as well, right? Everything will be right there. All you have to do is make that accountant, send them a link to have access. They can get your financial statements in real time. They can see your income statement, balance sheet, statement of activities, profit and loss, whatever you want to name it, all in real time, right there for you. Guess what? Let me make sure you can hear me because I'm speaking a lot. I don't know if somebody can hear me or not, but at least a one in the chat so I can know. you may not want to. You may not want to let nobody know you're watching, and I understand that too. That's cool. Um, but yeah, and that's gonna be the most important. Now, here's the deal: retroactive, and I'm gonna share my screen a little later because I'm gonna actually bring up the executive order, and I'm gonna actually bring up the bill um later. But for right now, retroactive means that it's not just effect for 2026 year. It's in effect for 2025, and I'm thinking it's retroacting. I don't have the exact date, but I want to say that it's retroacting to January 1st, 2025. And what that means is that if some of those favors of credits and tax deduction, tax low and taxable income apply to you, that means that you overpaid taxes in 2025 and you would be due a refund. So when they're saying, "Oh, this is going to be the biggest tax refund ever," they're not giving you any money. What they're doing is because they've created a way to lower your taxable income by making some changes with the standard deductions, it will give you back what you already paid, therefore putting money back into your pocket. That's one scenario, right? Another scenario is them um child credit. So I don't want to get too deep into that part. I actually want to make sure that you all, first of all, you need to have this information captured, right? Like, there's no way for you to itemize. It, like I said, it drives your tax preparers crazy. You don't want to file taxes because you end up with a liability. And a lot of times, you're not going to avoid the liability because if you're making money, you have a net profit. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. I don't know why everybody want to take a loss. you know, there are vehicles where you can do deferred retirement accounts and put some money away and it's not taxed immediately, things of that nature. But, honey, I would rather be profiting than to be taking a loss. All right. But where I think we need to tighten up is the administrative piece of it, the accountability. How are you accounting for your funds? Are you are you just trying to put it on someone else and then upset when they want to charge you to do the work? I can tell you things are increasing. And it takes a long time for someone to come behind you. They have to, most of the time, it's not going to be that CPA or that accountant. They're going to hire someone to come in and itemize and reconcile your bank statement for 12 months. I know it sounds like something easy. It sounds like the task is so simple. The problem is having to download it all, make sure it's all there, and then categorize it. It takes time. And there's a reason you don't do it. And so this is why I'm saying in 2026, make life simple for your accountant or your tax preparer and go ahead and get yourself a system. Okay? It's not that difficult. Um, I'll drop my link to my time because you can get the cash flow manager from there. And it's only $10.95 a month. And then QuickBooks, I have a QuickBooks link too. But you can also go online and do QuickBooks, QuickBooks Self-Employed, QuickBooks Online. You could do the simple start. You could do the simple start, and it's gonna cost you probably the first 3 months. It's probably gonna be cheap, and then after that, it's probably go to like $20, $30. But guess what? That subscription is a tax write-off. So I wouldn't be upset that I had a subscription. I would actually embrace it because remember, I said when you said, "Well, what's the benefit of me having this accounting system?" Well, the benefit is that it tracks your mileage for you. You don't have to do it. All you have to do is swipe right or left. Second benefit, it takes you take a picture of your receipt in real time. It posts to the transaction that the bank that's linked to it. That's real time, so that when December comes and you give your accountant access to your software, they will have all receipts there for them, and because it's going to take them less time to audit your information. Your accountant is going to charge you less money. You're not going to have these large tax bills. So you hide it from the IRS, from the liability, and then you hide it from your accountant because they charge you. You saying they charge too much. I'm saying it's man hours. It's man hours, and you're not their only client. And it should not take a tax preparer very long to prepare your taxes if you have all your supporting documentation. And a lot of times, guess what? You don't have your supporting documentation. And you don't have your supporting documentation. Why? Because throughout the year, you're so busy doing the work. You're so busy doing the work that you don't have time to go back and think about what was supposed to happen a certain way. And so, save you that time. Save you that time. And the only way for you can take advantage of that. So everybody tonight should be looking into an accounting system. And like I said, the reason I favor it, those are two: mileage tracker, snapshot of your receipts, putting it towards the trans. You can link your bank, putting it towards the transactions, and then the other one is um it will also categorize your income and expenses. So all you have to do is print the tax report for business and self, and it tracks your self expenses as well. Um, and guess what? All you have to do is either give your accountant access to your information, or you just print your reports. Well, if you give them access to your account, if you give them access to your account, they have access to your receipts and your mileage log. And what you also can do when your interest get your statements. So what I do, I'll create a transaction and my mortgage statement, end of year statement, my vehicle end of year statement, my any If you have a student, if you have a young adult that's in college, their college statement, um, 1099s, I make sure I add all of those. I take pictures just as if it was an actual purchase receipt. I take pictures of those those supporting documentation, and guess what? I put that in there as well. So now all documents as it relates to business is in the system. Only thing I have to do, and then don't worry, sometimes you're unable to do it all at one time or that week or the same day. Well, here's where hiring your kids come into place. So the tax credit for having a child, for hiring a child and getting that tax credit for hiring that child, get that kid every week they want an allowance. Guess what? Have them scan your receipts into QuickBooks or into your accounting software. Now you have the little 8-year-old. Let me tell you something. I was so good when my younger cousins was staying with me. They were, I think, 4 or 5 years old and 7. And guess what? They wanted money. They wanted to go into Walmart and buy toys. I would have them right there, taping those receipts down to a piece of paper, taping the receipts to a piece of paper, putting holes in it, and putting it in a binder for me. And then I would log them on to my account, and I would have them sit right there, take snap pictures of those receipts, and put it towards it. And guess what? Now they just justified their paycheck. And I don't have to make anything up because every week I had something for them to upload and something for them to be accounted for. You see how we just justified that job? Very easy. Very easy. I just justified that job. Now, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just for your child. It could be for a teenager. It could be for an adult trying to earn extra money. Okay, you want to earn some extra money? I have a company. I need to I need to put away my receipts. I haven't done it all year. I have them stuck right here in a bag. I need to get prepared to file my taxes. I heard this young lady speaking about an accounting system, QuickBooks, or whatnot. Can you help me prepare and get my QuickBooks up to par? And guess what? Now you have somebody you can justify paying them. Don't just be listen. People want to borrow money. Don't let people borrow money. Give them a job. If you have a business, you always have something to do. I'm not letting you borrow no money. I have some work for you to do. You want to come over here and scan the receipts? You want to come over here and make sure my handbook is up to date? You want to come over here, make sure that my everybody that work for me is in E-Verify. You want to come over here, make sure that all my training, everybody, my training logs are up to date. You want to listen? Oh man, yeah, justify that money. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you work for some, and I might let you borrow. But in many cases, oh no, you come and work for that money, honey. I'm not giving them nothing. That's how you do it, right? So I gave you, I think I gave you 4 benefits. 1, track your mileage. 2, capture your receipts. 3, link your bank account. 4, track your tax um, documentation. And 5, have your financial statements ready. So when you want to go and apply for like a business loan, or you want to go and maybe if you're a nonprofit, you're applying for grants, or maybe you're looking for investors. Guess what? Everything, you already have everything. You good. You ready to rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? You are ready to rock and roll. Just like that. Just like that. How you love that? That's what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna share my screen and maybe give you guys a little bit more insight on showing you these systems so that I can make you out of a believer. Because a lot of times, you talking, sometimes people just don't get it. And sometimes showing them better than you can tell them helps them out. I hope somebody can hear me because I've just been going on and on and on. And the administrative piece is the area where most people have the most trouble in business. And even if you, and I like to help the small businesses, even if you are a small business, if you are a small business, this piece, compliance, how you manage your money, how you capture your money should be the number one way. That's the first thing you should be worried about. And guess what? Maybe you're just getting started in business, right? Maybe you maybe this is your first year and you're like, you know what? I have not been doing business right. And then you wonder, like, you know what? Who can file as a sole proprietor? Who can file self-employed? If you getting a 1099 from someone, you can file self-employed. You can file self-employed. If someone gave you more than $600, if you are here using Square and Cash App and PayPal for business, and they send you a 1099, you could file self-employed. You could be using that app. You could be using that app. It will save you a lot of time. It will also put a refund in your pocket from time to time. Now, if you're making big money, you might not necessarily get a refund, but you won't have a tax liability because, I mean, the other side of this is that, when you earn based on your services, goods and services, when you earn money, you should be um, putting away, you should have factored in your taxes so that way, when you factor in your taxes, you can pay that tax liability either monthly, quarterly, yearly. You can pay it off as you go along so that you don't have that large liability at the end of the year, right? Maybe you want to keep the money in your account and earn interest from it and then pay your liability off at the end of the year. That's fine. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to make sure that you're putting the money away. And I know sometimes things get tight. You're like, man, if I owe money, I'm going to be in trouble because time just got a little tight and I had to dig into my tax stash. Well, I encourage you to have more than one stash. This is where the investment fees come into play. If you earn $100, put, you know, maybe you say, you know what, for every dollar, for all my sales, I'm gonna make sure I put away 5% of that money. 1% I'm gonna keep in an investment account, you know, 3%, maybe you put 3% in a retirement account, and another 1% you'll keep for petty cash on hand, right? Like, know how to break your money down. You can break it all the way down. You can break it all the way down to the penny. You really can. And if you can't break it to the penny, then you need to budget it, right? So with the QuickBooks, it allows you to see your trends. You have your income trends, your expenses trends. So you know when your peak season, your high and your low. And it's not just in your head, it's actually you can see it and you can make informed decisions. You can't make informed decisions about it being in business and then when favor come down as it relates to business and all of these different credits and all these different deductions, you don't even know what you qualify for because you didn't track it. You just swipe the card, swipe the card, swipe the card, swipe the card. It didn't even really matter. You swiping the card, but guess what? You didn't swipe the card for a purpose. All you had to do when you swipe that card and they give you that receipt is take your QuickBooks app out. As a matter of fact, while the clerk while the clerk is ringing things up, guess what? Take a picture. Be ready. Have your QuickBooks app ready. Soon as you get the receipt, after you pay, snap it. Go to transactions, snap. Guess what? Boom. One less thing you got to do. If you lose the receipt, but you have to make sure when you take a picture of that receipt, you have to make sure that when you take a picture of that receipt, you have to make sure that you capture the date and the vendor. Don't just do anything and you have a portion of your receipt. Don't just do anything. That's not how business works. Be intentional about what you're doing. Have some purpose. You know, be a quality business owner, not just in your service, but in your administrative paperwork. And I promise you, you could be a superstar. You could do it by yourself. But why do it by yourself? Why do it by yourself when you have people borrowing your money all the time? Don't let them borrow it. Put them to work. Guess what that does for them? Give them another skill set. Now they can update their resume, which they probably not in school or not interested in going, but because you gave them some cross training on bookkeeping, now guess what? They can add that to their resume. And believe it or not, bookkeeping jobs is just simply keeping up with documentation. Listen, these things are simple. These things may be going, most people, they say they're going away, but guess what? If you have your own business, you're going to need to do it. You may not be doing it for a company. Guess what? Guess what? That company that needs to write that script going to need your intellect to do it. So until the job is gone, you still need to do it if you own a business. You're still responsible for it. So until then, you have to tap in. Tap into what works. Some people haven't been made a believer yet to invest. So they haven't started investing yet. They still waiting until they get a certain dollar amount in their pocket. Well, while they're waiting, guess what? Teach them something. Teach them a bookkeeping by saying, hey, listen, I know you want to borrow. I know you need some help. Things a little tight. Might need some rent money. Well, guess what? I got these receipts. I got to get ready for tax season. I need you to go ahead, scan all these receipts, put them in my QuickBooks app for me. Then I need you to make sure that everywhere I went, my mileage is caught up in my mileage log. Then once you do that, I'll give you my ending balance. I won't give you my bank statements because you don't want to let people loose with your bank account. But maybe you tell them what the totals are at the end of the month. And then I need to make sure that my QuickBooks reconcile. Too easy, right? Too easy. Listen, you will thank me later. I know. You will thank me later. Yes. So while I'm cooking my little meal, if you got some tips, yep, it's almost over. And I'll be back. After I eat, I'm going to be back because I'm going to share my screen and everything I just talked about that's going to help save your tax liability. I'm going to show you in real time. Hey, right on time, 30 minutes. Peace, power, and profit, everybody. I'll see you after I'm done eating my dinner. Peace.